the woman who was shot at did have a bloody arm, but it's unclear right now if any of those bullets actually hit her. I spoke with a woman who was a witness to all of this. She was up on the ski lift as that avalanche started. You can see these boarded up windows, even shattered glass from those looters. That music is not stopping anytime soon, as things are just getting started, as fans are coming in for day one. This is that dry vegetation that really does concern firefighters. If you take a look behind me in the distance, you can see a car that got caught up in this water. This is just one example of how close some of these encampments are to neighborhoods like here in Oak Park. Just minutes ago, we saw a gurney being carted into this crime scene. It was teetering back and forth all afternoon, and if you take a look down here, this used to be a huge bubble, and now since they were able to cut off those branches, you can see it kind of went back down into place. You may have seen something similar to Drone 13 flying around in the sky, but now Amazon is taking it to another level with drone deliveries. His loved ones say he was always thinking of others, even down to his last moments. Eventually, the sun will shine again, even though it doesn't look like that at this moment. And when it does, it could create some problems for the rivers in the valley.
If convicted, how much time are we talking here that he could be spending behind bars?
Yeah, that's definitely top of mind questions. So many people are asking right now. I did speak with a local attorney. Obviously, this is all just preliminary, as this is all just getting underway. But that local attorney told me that the way the charges stand now, and if an enhancement is added to that child endangerment charge for great bodily injury, Davis, according to this attorney, could be facing a little more than 10 years behind bars if he is found guilty. I've covered a lot of homeless stories in the past, but I've never seen such elaborate infrastructure for encampments. It starts with these makeshift steps that lead about 20 feet down below to where these caves are hidden. You can't even see them from up above, and that's likely why they went undetected for so long. Hidden homeless caves tucked along the Tuolumne River in Modesto.
These are basically stairs that they made to get down to the dwelling.
Tracy Rojas took us on the treacherous walk to see the craters created near Crater Avenue.
And if one of these were to collapse, it would be devastating. This whole side would come down and into the water.
7,600 pounds of trash. That's how much was cleared out by volunteer groups and police over the weekend. So this was fully furnished?
Yes. There was bedding, there was little things up on the mantle, lack of a better word, mantle, food items, drugs, guns.
We had a hard time figuring out how they got so much stuff down in there, considering how hard it was. It's always harder to get it up the hill and get it out.
Chris Guptill was one of these volunteers who says they found 8 caves in total, but it wasn't the group's first time down here.
And we really don't have a known solution to deal with it.
In November 2022, CBS 13 took a tour of the cleared out caves, nowhere near as elaborate as they are now.
You can see the hooks on the wall where they had bottles and things like that hanging down.
Painted pictures and even a makeshift fireplace. This was someone's home. What do you think needs to be done to stop this from happening?
Well, I think we need more emphasis on the homeless. I mean, they're at the point where you can see, Tori, that they're desperate.
We asked Modesto police and the city what's being done to prevent people from coming back to cave camp. The response, they will continue to monitor the area and connect the homeless to services.
It was already been proven that people are willing to dig those things out, so I don't think filling them back in with any material would work.
The caves cleared for now, but the neighborhood near the river feeling no real sense of peace in this problem.
It's a hazard for not only the homeless who live in there, but the people who are walking up here.
Erosion, rising waters washing the belongings into the river, and contamination are all concerns. Rojas says that park rangers are planning on putting up cameras around this area and also signage, making it an official park. That way that they can have more enforcement.
But first, tori.j.apodaca, one of the first on the scene, live at Palisades, sharing what she's learned from a witness chilling accounts. Tori.
Just chilling accounts, you guys. We've learned from the Placer County Sheriff's Office that one man is dead and another person is injured. But I spoke with a woman who was a witness to all of this. She was up on the ski lift as that avalanche started and then helped with those search and rescue efforts. And just within these past 15 minutes, she sent me some video that she took from her GoPro and also her cell phone showing some of those efforts. And we want to give you a look at what it looked like, those conditions this morning as everything unfolded.
I know. It sounds like somebody just got buried. Somebody's trying to get him. That guy just ran for him. So.
Yeah. So who you just heard from, that was Jen Winkelplack, and she was just traumatized from this entire experience. And here's more from her in her first account of everything she saw out there as she was helping, and other skiers jumped into action to rescue those who were getting buried by the snow.
The bus was like 5 minutes late, and 5 minutes earlier, I probably would have been in it. And that's the part that's freaking me out.
Jen Winkelplack was on the ski lift when she saw the deadly avalanche at Palisades come rumbling down.
I'm sorry, I'm crying a little because it was freaking freaky.
Immediately, she and other skiers jumped into action, working with Palisades and first responders to look for those buried in the Tahoe snow.
These like line formations where you're like shoulder to shoulder and everybody starts just poking the snow. You either hit rock or you hit a body.
The Placer County Sheriff's Office confirmed 4 people total were caught, 2 buried, 1 injured, and 1 man dead.
But it's been quite a traumatic morning.
Do you ski on these slopes often?
I do. I'm here all the time. So my phone actually blew up because a lot of people were concerned that I was in that avalanche.
The slope where they searched for the survivors had just opened for the first time this season, minutes before the avalanche hit.
And I was really shocked that they were going to open KT today because I knew that this storm was coming, and I was like, there's no way they're going to open that. There's no way.
Specifically, have there been avalanche mitigation efforts in that location?
We've had ski patrol up there doing avalanche control assessments since Sunday.
In this industry, there's risk and reward. And this was unfortunately a risk, and that didn't pay off very good.
Winkelplack counting her blessings that she's alive.
I'm lucky that the bus was late because I would have been in that avalanche.
But praying for the man who died and others caught in the worst of it.
Anybody that was off the chair, we just all got asked to help and start probing and start trying to just find people.
Yeah, truly just unimaginable what her and other skiers must have been going through this morning as everything was unfolding. And, you know, those videos in her account really just give some perspective on also not just the conditions that they were up against, but the camaraderie that exists amongst the skiers community. That's something that she said really stood out to her, how they were all able to really band together in that time of need to literally pull people out from underneath the snow. She said she was also just impressed by the first responders and also Palisades and how they handled this entire tragic situation. Let's go ahead now and send it over to Andrew Hobner to give us some more perspective on these avalanche conditions.
Tori, tragically, this isn't their first heartbreaking loss this year.
That's right, Marley. Loved ones tell me that 10-year-old Keith Frierson had also lost his own father back in October of 2022. So you can just, it's unimaginable what type of grief this family is experiencing right now. You can see that growing memorial right now behind me, written on the ground out of candles. You can see KJ, which is what they commonly refer to him as more loved ones are just showing up within these past couple minutes right now for that memorial that's going to be happening at 6. But this all unfolded on Saturday evening, tragically, as Keith was out just riding his bike that he had just gotten for Christmas when he was shot and killed.
His brother had to see his little brother laying on the ground, covered in blood. It's not right. It's not right, and there's no excuse for it.
10-year-old Keith Frierson, a son, a brother, a friend to many, now gone.
He was outside for all of 15, 20 minutes. Just literally just riding his bike right here. with another little kid.
Another neighborhood 10-year-old boy arrested for pulling the trigger. Detectives say the boy got the weapon out of his dad's car when he was grabbing him a pack of cigarettes.
Dad's a felon. Dad's not legally allowed to own a firearm to begin with. The gun's actually stolen.
There's no fighting. There was nothing that led up to this at all.
Nina Treppener says her godson Keith was with his 6-year-old buddy who witnessed the tragedy, trying to process the pain herself and how to explain it.
The other little boy that was outside, he came up to me last night and said, well, who's going to play with me now?
This one rocked us. I'm going to be perfectly honest with you. This rocked the deputies on the ground who had to give CPR to a 10-year-old kid. This thing rocked the detectives who had to investigate this thing and put a 10-year-old kid under arrest.
Detectives also arrested the 10-year-old's dad, 53-year-old Arkeet Davis, who they say threw the gun his son used in a garbage can to try and cover it up.
Guns aren't nothing to play with. It's not a toy, man. It's not a toy.
Keith's football coach,
he's a good kid. God bless. Rest in peace, man. We love you.
says he doesn't understand this type of violence.
All you kids are thinking, just need to stay in your lane, man. Be kids, man. Just be kids and have fun. You got your whole life to worry about the other stuff.
That took a young boy's life.
You try so hard to make sure that your kids are doing the right thing, and it's just so negligent.
Back out here live again, you can see just this display of affection for young Keith, just 10 years old, who died here over the weekend. The father of the 10-year-old who was arrested for murder was also arrested himself on multiple charges, including child endangerment and accessory after the fact. Coming up at 6, we'll have more on this memorial as just more family and friends and an outcrying of love and support for Keith's and his family just all come together this evening.